I don't know how I got here, but I've been walking for what feels like an eternity. Right now, I'm stuck on an endless staircase. It's a bizarre, almost surreal place. Steps stretching on in both directions, vanishing into a darkness that seems to swallow everything. The first thing I noticed was the silence. An unnerving, oppressive quiet that hangs in the air like a thick fog. There's no echo of my footsteps, no distant sounds of life, just an eerie, all-encompassing stillness that makes me feel like I'm the last person left in the world. I can't remember how I ended up here. One moment, I was in my apartment, and the next, I found myself standing on the staircase, surrounded by shadows. My phone's dead, and there's no sign of an exit or any landmark that could guide me. I tried to retrace my steps, but it's impossible to tell if I'm going up or down. Every turn looks the same, and the sense of disorientation is maddening. I lived a normal life until recently. I lived alone in my apartment. I had a family, friends, and a job. There was nothing wrong or anything special, which only makes me more doubtful about why I'm here. Sometimes, I think I see movement out of the corner of my eye, familiar shapes and faces flickering just out of reach. But when I turn to look, there's nothing there. It's like the staircase is playing tricks on me, messing with my mind. I don't know if these are hallucinations or something more sinister. All I know is that I have to keep moving. Stopping feels like giving up, and I'm not ready to do that. Not yet. So, I take another step, and another, hoping that somewhere up ahead, there's an end to this nightmare. I've lost track of time. Minutes? Hours? Days? I can't tell anymore. The staircase twists and turns, a maze of stone steps that never seem to change. I can't remember if I'm supposed to be going up or down. Each step feels the same, each landing identical to the last. My mind races, trying to make sense of this labyrinth, but it's a futile effort. My legs are heavy, aching with every step I take. The muscles burn, and my feet are blistered and raw. The physical exhaustion is nothing compared to the mental strain. My thoughts are a jumbled mess, a constant battle between logic and the creeping dread that I'll never escape this place. I start seeing them more frequently now, glimpses of people I know. My mother's face, pale and ghostly, appearing for a split second before fading into the shadows. My best friend, standing at the edge of my vision, looking at me with eyes full of sorrow. They never stay long enough for me to call out to them, to ask if they're real. Sometimes I hear their voices, whispered fragments of conversations we had long ago, echoing softly around me. I try to focus, to grab hold of these fleeting moments, but they slip through my fingers like smoke. Am I hallucinating, or is something playing with my mind, using the faces of those I love to torment me? The line between reality and nightmare is blurring. I can't trust my senses anymore. The staircase is alive, feeding on my fear and confusion. Each step is a struggle, each landing a test of my sanity. I catch myself talking to the shadows, begging for answers, for a way out. But the silence is my only reply. I push on, driven by a stubborn refusal to succumb to this madness. I have to believe there's an end, that I'm not doomed to wander these steps forever. But with every passing moment, that belief grows weaker, and the darkness around me seems to grow stronger. The apparitions are becoming more frequent now, and with each passing moment, they grow more vivid, more real. My father appears before me, his face a mask of concern and sorrow. He reaches out as if to comfort me, but when I try to take his hand, he vanishes, leaving only the cold emptiness behind. My sister stands at the next landing, calling my name with a voice that trembles with fear. I rush towards her, but she dissolves into shadows before I can reach her. These visions tear at my heart, filling me with a sense of profound loss and despair. I can't tell if they're real or if my mind is fracturing under the pressure. I've tried to convince myself they're just hallucinations, tricks played by my exhausted brain. But they feel so real, so achingly familiar, that it's hard to dismiss them. The silence that once surrounded me is now filled with unsettling sounds. Whispers, too faint to understand, float around me, growing louder and more insistent with each step. I hear footsteps behind me, always just out of sight, following me relentlessly. Sometimes, there are other noises, scraping, dragging sounds that set my teeth on edge and make my skin crawl. I can't identify them, and that uncertainty gnaws at my sanity. Every now and then, I hear a soft, almost imperceptible crying, like a child lost in the dark. It sends chills down my spine and makes my heart race. I call out, but there's no answer, just the echoes of my own voice bouncing off the stone walls. Am I losing my mind? Is this some kind of punishment or a test? The line between reality and delusion has all but vanished. I no longer trust my senses, my perception of what's real. Every apparition, every sound, chips away at my resolve, making it harder to hold on to my sanity. I try to stay focused, to remind myself that I'm still here, still alive. But the endless staircase seems determined to break me. It's as if it knows my deepest fears and is using them to erode my will. Each step forward is a step deeper into the unknown, and with every passing moment, I feel myself slipping further away from reality. I don't know how much longer I can endure this. My grip on sanity is tenuous at best, and the constant barrage of apparitions and sounds is pushing me to the brink. But I have to keep moving, keep fighting. I have to believe there's an end to this nightmare, even if it's just a faint hope in the dark. The apparitions have taken a darker turn. What once were comforting faces of loved ones have twisted into grotesque parodies. Their features distorted and their eyes empty voids. My mother's face, once so kind, now appears gaunt and hollow, her mouth opening in a silent scream of agony. My best friend, who used to offer a sense of solace, now grins at me with a predatory gleam, his hands reaching out with claw-like fingers. They don't just vanish anymore. They linger, following me, their forms shifting and morphing into nightmarish figures. They whisper vile things, secrets and accusations, feeding my paranoia. You did this, they say. You deserve this. Their voices are a cacophony of despair and malice, wrapping around my mind like a vice. Why do I deserve this? Why are they saying this? I don't know. I'm not a perfect person. I make mistakes, of course, but I'm also no worse than most people. I try to think of something really bad that I did, but I can't. I'm constantly distracted by hallucinations in the hallway. I can't concentrate. My fear has grown into a constant, gnawing presence. I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched, hunted. I find myself glancing over my shoulder, expecting to see something lurking in the shadows. I scream at the apparitions, begging them to leave me alone. But they only laugh, a hollow, mocking sound that echoes through the endless staircase. My behavior has become frantic and erratic. I run up the steps, then turn and run down, desperately trying to find some way out. I claw at the walls, searching for hidden doors or passages. My hands are raw and bloody, but I can't stop. I have to find a way out. I have to. The breaking point comes when I encounter something far more sinister than the apparitions. I hear a slow, deliberate scraping sound coming from above. It's different from the usual noises, heavier and more ominous. I freeze, my heart pounding in my chest, as the sound grows closer. And then I see it, a figure, shrouded in darkness, slowly descending the staircase towards me. Its movements are unnatural, jerky, as if it's being pulled by invisible strings. It has no face, just a blank, featureless void that seems to draw in all the light around it. I back away, but my legs feel like lead, my body refusing to obey my commands. The figure reaches out a hand, and I can feel a cold, suffocating presence wrap around me. My mind screams, but no sound escapes my lips. I'm paralyzed, trapped in a nightmare that feels all too real. The figure leans in close, and though it has no mouth, I hear it speak. A low, guttural whisper that reverberates through my very soul. You belong to us now, it says, and I feel a cold dread unlike anything I've ever experienced. In a burst of primal terror, I break free and run, not caring if I'm going up or down, just needing to escape. The staircase blurs around me, and all I can hear is the pounding of my heart and the echoing laughter of the apparitions. I run until my legs give out, collapsing on the cold stone steps, gasping for breath. I've reached my limit. The staircase has won. All that's left is a hollow shell of who I once was, a mind teetering on the edge of madness. And somewhere in the darkness, I can still feel that faceless figure watching, waiting. I don't know how long I lay there, crumpled on the steps, consumed by fear and exhaustion. The oppressive silence returns, broken only by my ragged breaths and the occasional whisper that snakes through the air. The weight of the staircase presses down on me, a constant reminder of my despair. Just as I'm about to give up, a faint light appears above me. It's different from the previous apparitions, a soft, almost soothing glow that beckons me forward. With the last reserves of my strength, I force myself to my feet and begin to climb once more, each step a monumental effort. As I ascend, the light grows brighter, and the whispers fade into the background. I feel a strange mix of hope and dread. What awaits me at the top? Is this the end, or just another cruel trick? I reach the source of the light, and my heart skips a beat. It's a doorway, unlike any I've seen on this cursed staircase. Warm, golden light spills out from the other side, illuminating the steps in a way that feels almost divine. My hand trembles as I reach for the doorknob, half expecting it to vanish the moment I touch it. But it doesn't. The door swings open with a creak, revealing a room bathed in soft light. It's my living room. The familiar furniture, the photographs on the walls, everything is exactly as I remember. I step inside, and for a moment, I'm overwhelmed with relief. I made it. I'm home. But something's not right. The air is too still, the silence too perfect. I call out, but my voice sounds hollow, echoing strangely in the empty space. I move further into the room, and that's when I see it. A mirror on the far wall, reflecting my haggard, broken form. But the reflection isn't quite right. It's delayed, lagging behind my movements by a split second. I approach the mirror, my breath catching in my throat. As I reach out to touch it, my reflection does the same, but its eyes are different, dark, empty voids that seem to swallow all light. A cold realization dawns on me. This isn't over. It was never about the staircase. It's about something far deeper, something that has been watching, waiting. The reflection smiles, a twisted, mocking grin, and suddenly I'm yanked back into the staircase, the door slamming shut behind me. The golden light is gone, replaced by the familiar, suffocating darkness. I scream, pounding on the door, but it doesn't budge. The staircase stretches out before me once again, infinite and unyielding. I collapse on the steps, my mind shattered by the revelation. There is no escape. The staircase is a part of me now, a never-ending cycle of torment and despair. I don't know if I'm alive or dead, awake or dreaming. All I know is that I'm trapped, forever climbing, forever searching for an end that doesn't exist. As I sit there, the shadows close in, and I feel the presence of the faceless figure once more. It's closer now, its cold breath on my neck, its whisper in my ear. "Welcome home," it says, and I realize with a sinking dread that this is my reality now. I don't even know if this is a reality. I don't even know what's real anymore, or if I'm real, or if the stairs are real. The line between reality and the supernatural is blurred beyond recognition, and I am lost in the darkness, a prisoner of the endless staircase. My fate is sealed, and all that remains is the lingering terror of what lies ahead.